Antelope Gaming, making it happen. Antelope Gaming, kill it, bro. Wishing you the best. Those are just a few of the things that my buddy, the Black Power Ranger, Roger Velasco, told me when I met him. Super cool dude, man. I've met a few celebrities in my life, and so far he's been one of the nicest ones I've ever, nicest dudes I've ever met. When I met Roger, he wanted me to watch the Southgate Ranger, the story of Roger Velasco. So it's like his story, the stuff he's been through in his life and things like that. So I thought it'd be a cool idea to watch it with you guys, see what it's all about, and see what my new friend Roger, what his life has been like up until now, and from his point of view. Let's go ahead and check it out.
I remember 12 years old, you know, my mom wanted to move out of that neighborhood because it was so rough and it's so tough, and I got involved in some crazy stuff just growing up in that environment. You know, it's kind of hard not to kind of get involved sometimes. So growing up was a little bit.
Your mom is beautiful, man.
A little bit difficult with those challenges.
You were an ugly kid.
Being surrounded by gangs and drugs and kids carrying guns to school. I had to build up this like persona, like the strong.
I'm sorry to pause it so quick, but that is such a 90s picture right there, man. Straight 90s.
Stronger persona of me, like I'm tough, you know? So people wouldn't mess with me. It shaped who I am today. And then I get a call. They're like, hey, the Saban people want to meet you. Let's rock it! Isn't that the Phenomena show that's going on right now? That it's like all over? Like I'm watching these kids on TV and they can't even go to the mall.
Straight swag. Look at that suit, man.
Like Mob, Universal City, like everywhere, like auditioning for that. This is where it all started for me. Well, I didn't really like know what it meant. I for sure would never imagine we were gonna end up here where we're at
that
now.
90s swag, man, I love it.
This is the thing, it's gonna get, so how can I say this? Let me see. There might be some parts where it's like, you know, I mean, I'm just gonna keep it real. I just wanna show people that, you know, I'm a human being. I'm not perfect, you know, behind all this.
Story of Roger Velasco in the body. He doesn't have long hair anymore, as you can tell. When I told him about it, he said that it was too much maintenance, man. He's not that high maintenance kind of guy, and it was just too much maintenance to maintain.
Originally, well, I'm a Kaiser baby. I was born at Kaiser on Sunset. Grew up over on Gramercy and Melrose, some apartments down there. Grew up in Los Angeles, just normal, humble beginnings in a very, very humble apartment.
I grew up in apartments too, kind of close to where you were, an hour and a half north of LA. So we didn't grow up too far apart, my dude.
I guess talent name is Roger, but my legal name is Rogelio. And, you know, just grew up like a regular kid. You know, it was following superheroes since I was in diapers, really, literally. I have pictures of myself with like running around with towels wrapped around my neck and jumping from couch to couch thinking I was Superman. My parents been together for a long time. They came to this country at the age of 21. Actually, yeah, 20. I was born when they were 21. We eventually moved over to Bell Gardens. At that time, Bell Gardens was a little bit of a troubled neighborhood. So growing up was a little bit difficult with those challenges of, you know, being surrounded by gangs and drugs and, you know, fights, and it was a really it shaped who I am today.
During the early 90s, when I was, you know, a kid, I remember going to school. They were teaching us about all these, I guess, crimes in LA, you know, because I didn't live in LA. I lived like in the surrounding area of LA, and in the inner city, you know, you would always hear about all these cops against, you know, these gangs and cops shooting. So I remember all of that, all of those things, you know, in the early 90s, the drugs, the violence, you know, all those things. So I know what you're talking about, man.
These experiences growing up in those cities, I believe that it taught me a lot. Stuff that you can't learn anywhere else outside. Kind of like, how can I say, like streets, what do you call it? Streetwise, you know.
Street smarts.
That town shaped me up, you know, it roughed me up. I grew up around a lot of family. My grandfather was around a lot, and you know, 6 years later, you know, here comes my sister. She was born Marisol Velasco. It was amazing. So my sister was born, and then my brother was born a couple years later, Carlos Velasco. The irony of that, right? Carlos Velasco.
Carlos.
I play Carlos on the show, and I really have a brother named Carlos. My childhood was around the Los Angeles area, into the Bow Gardens area, and then eventually we went over to Southgate. That's kind of where
I'm sorry, bro, but that scarf, it's gotta go.
I remember 12 years old. You know, my mom wanted to move out of that neighborhood because it was so rough and it's so tough. And you know, I got involved in some crazy stuff in high school. You know, just growing up in that environment, you know, it's kind of hard not to kind of get involved sometimes. And my mom had to get me out of that town because it got a little too crazy with people trying to like jump me, carrying guns to school, my friends carrying guns to school. I carried a gun to school one day.
Ooh.
I kind of started hanging out with like a party crew? Not what it was called, but it was just guys going out, looking, you know, dressing up, looking good, pursuing the girls, right? But it was kind of cliquey.
Hell yeah.
Not gangbanger type or none of that. They used to call us like pretty boys or whatever when they started seeing me affiliated with hanging out with these group of guys, which, you know, I got associated with a group of people that had trouble with these people, and all of a sudden, you know, they would pick on me, I'd fights, friends getting shot. So going to school for me was like, in Bell Gardens, was scary. I was scared for my life, for sure, no doubt. So a lot of times I had to do what I had to do. And it wasn't because I'm gonna do something with that gun, it's because I wanna protect myself, you know? And I've always been a good kid, I've always played sports, I was raised by two awesome parents. I didn't, you know, grow up being a troublemaker or whatnot. I just got involved with the wrong people, and my mom had to pull me out of that school.
You're forced to take a gun to school. You know, it's not a choice at this point. It's more like you have to. You know, you feel like you need to do something that drastic to protect yourself. That's a scary thought, man. And it should be a safe environment. And for you, it wasn't like that. That's props to you, man.
My mom had pulled me out of that school because of everything that was going on. And then it was time for me to go to Southgate High, inner city kid, Latino.
Oh, man, that picture right there. I'm sorry I cut you off, Raj. Or Rogelio. That picture right there takes me back home, man. The palm trees, these little things right here on the buildings, man. People sitting in the park, in the green grass, the big beautiful trees, clear blue skies. Man, there's that picture. Wow, that picture takes me back home. Here in the desert, we don't have anything like that.
I think this is where it all started for me. My aunt has been my Aunt Laura Vasquez. This is what you don't know. My Aunt Laura Vasquez has been very instrumental in the shaping of my life. At the age of 15, she got me a job. I used to go work for this lawyer. I used to sit there and pound the phones at the age of 15. Boom, 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 pound the phone. They trained me. And I used to bring clients in. I needed to do a bankruptcy 7 or chapter 13. And every client that would come in, I would make X amount of dollars, which for a 15-year-old was a lot of money. I just started going out there, looking for something else.
Awesome. Gotta respect
got
that.
out of high school, you know, 2 things. I said I need to get a job and I need to go to college. And nobody would hire me except for one company. And that was Taco Bell.
Good old Taco Bell.
But it did a lot for me. It did a lot for me too, because it was like, man, I was so aggressive. I was so motivated that I was like, I need to get something else. I need to get out of here. I signed up for college, sat there in my class day 1, and I said, this is not for me.
College is not for everybody.
And I left, and I never set foot in that school ever again. And someone one day reached out to me and said, hey, you gotta come out, you gotta take a look at this opportunity, right? I'm like, okay, I'm hungry, what's up, what do you got? And I drive over to Anaheim to take a look at an opportunity that wasn't for me. So then I'm sitting down in the lobby, there was this pageant. So these hot girls walking by everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
So, I'm there and I'm having a good time and I'm talking to other people, and then there's this gentleman I meet by the name of Louis Bailey. I'll never forget Louis Bailey. He says, "Hey man, I'm a talent manager. You gotta call me. I want to work with you." To me, it was completely new, and of course, I was a little skeptical. I'm like, okay. As you always hear that story, so it's like, took his card, I sat it down for.
Time out. You said you went to Anaheim for something, and you don't mention what it is or what it was. All you said it wasn't for you. Next time we meet up, I'm gonna ask you about it, Rogelio. All right? I want you to be honest with me. I'll keep it to myself. That's a promise. Biggie promise.
2 weeks I didn't call him. Something just told me call him, and I called him. Booked the meeting. I head over to Hollywood. 18 years old, naive, not knowing much about life, just trying to get started with life and get up and running. And I walk into his office, and there's actors walking around. There's pictures on the wall, phones are ringing. I'm like, man, this is legit. This is it. And
Good for you,
I signed.
man. Hell yeah.
I signed with Louis Bailey. And immediately the first thing he did, he took me over to LA Models. Louis was like, I got the new hot, Latin lover, you gotta meet him, blah, 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 right? He was obviously pitching me.
Hell yeah. I remember you telling me about this.
And LA Models, boom, got me on board right away. They signed me up. Before you knew it, I'm like on the face that's JCPenney and Mervyn's and all these crazy stores. And I'm like, I'd walk in the store, I'm like, man, that's my picture,
Hell
I'd get
yeah.
calls from my family, I'm like, hey, I saw you, you're at Mervyn's, you're on some ad. And then eventually, the talent department says, hey, we want to meet Roger. LA Models, one division, LA Talent, the other division. And Nick,
That shirt.
LA
Fire.
Talent, he says, I want to work with you. We wanted to start sending you out for commercials. And I said, okay. Once again, I'm following the lead, right? And I started booking very, very fast.
Good for you, bro.
And
Hell
I
yeah.
booked this one commercial. And I think that one was the one that did it for me. I booked a Burger King commercial.
Burger King, okay.
I shot it for 2 days. I was the lead. And that was the moment I said, I no longer want to do this. I want to act. I want to be an actor. And then I get a call. They're like, hey, the Saban people want to meet you. They want to bring you in for this role called Power Rangers. I said, Power Rangers?
Oh, hell yeah.
I said, isn't that the Phenomena show that's going on right now, that it's like all over? Like, I'm watching these kids
Oh, Kimberly.
on TV, and they can't even go to the mall. They can't even go to Disneyland. They're getting like mobbed at Universal City, like everywhere, like auditioning for that. And they're like, yeah, come on in. I'm like, okay. I believe I auditioned 7 times and a screenshot twice. And then I get the call. And the call was, Roger, you're gonna be the next Green Turbo Ranger. And that moment for me was kind of surreal. I didn't really know what it meant. I for sure would never imagine we were gonna end up here where we're at now. So what happened is when I got on the show, I had no idea I had an accent. But it wasn't a Latino accent. What it was just the environment, growing up in the hood, so to speak.
You know what? If I had to put a name on it, I would say you have a hood accent, bro. From the moment I met you, I wasn't expecting it, man. I wasn't expecting, you being all Hollywood and stuff, being a ranger, being on TV, movies, all that good stuff. I wasn't expecting it, man. But I would agree, you got some hood in you. And I dig it. That's why me and you clicked, bro. You got some hood in you.
You'll see the difference from turbo, heavy accent, to space. The accent kind of drops. It's because I was getting better working with my dialect coach. Salman was my buddy. On set and off set, we used to hang out all the time. As a matter of fact, we literally purposely moved a block away from each other. And we would hang out all the time. Tracy, super cool, close friend of mine as well. There's a little bit of a relationship with Tracy that people don't know. I know they think it was with Andros, but Tracy and I had a thing going on.
I could have guessed that, Raj.
Power Rangers in Space saved the franchise. Because of Power Rangers in Space, the franchise continued.
Yeah, I think so.
And it is what it is today. because of the ratings that we picked up. The ratings were dropping at Mighty Morphin and Turbo. Turbo were already on its way down, and Space picked up the ratings, saved the franchise, and now it is what it is. 25 years later, it's still going.
Turbo was okay, but I remember when In Space came out, my God, everybody was watching it. Everybody from all age groups. I remember watching In Space in front of my TV Saturday mornings, man. I can't remember if it was reruns or, that's when the new episodes came out. I don't remember that. I don't remember too much. But I remember In Space was like the shit. The fucking shit, man. Being in space, you could see the fucking big ass ships. The Rangers and their fucking, things driving their stuff. Oh, man. The memories, man. The memories. But I do remember it was fucking huge. As big, if not bigger than, Mighty Morphin.
After Power Rangers, continued working, started getting gigs. I was a booker. I used to book a lot. But in 2001, Screen Actors Guild went on strike, the writer's strike. So there was no jobs. I had an income here, a lifestyle here. All of a sudden the income was here and my lifestyle was here. I had to pay bills. I have to move back to my mom's house. And at the time I redid her whole garage and stuff, people do that. And I started associating myself with my old friends that were still doing the old things and troubles and basically bad things. And I come to my friend, I'm like, I need work. And the only thing is that the type of work that we're doing is completely illegal. I got involved with them, and we used to do big numbers, and we used to bring in big numbers. And for me it was work. For me it was like I needed to eat, I needed to pay bills, I needed to do what I had to do, and we were doing really, really well. I started losing friends, being murdered, literally showing up on the news like that's my friend. Friends getting kidnapped. I'm 25 years old, and I'm like, I need to get out of this, because if I don't get out of this, I'm either gonna end up dead or in jail, like the rest of my friends. That's when I got out of that business, and I had to do what I had to do, and I went to go lock myself up in my mom's garage, and that's when I started looking for something. I needed to find something else.
Took a dark turn in there, Raj. Man, I'm happy that you got out of that, because then you probably wouldn't have lived long enough for you to become my friend. Your life so far, up until from the beginning I started watching this till now, it's been a roller coaster, man.
I'll never forget, I was shooting in a commercial, non-union commercial. I shouldn't have been shooting, and I'm talking to one of the actors. I'm like, hey bro, I gotta do something. What else do you do? And I said, man, what are you doing? Like, I need to find something. Like, I need to do something else.
Consistent, right?
Stuff's piling up. He says, oh, well, they're hiring at my job. You should come over and I'll introduce you to my boss. I said, I'm down, let's go, right? I'm a hustler. I work.
Hell yeah.
I don't have a problem working. Little did I know that the person that I was gonna come meet and was gonna be my new boss was Jordan Belfort. The movie Wolf on Wall Street.
Yeah.
That's Jordan Belfort.
Yeah.
So
that's
Jordan
so
Belfort
dope.
was the person that launched my real estate career.
Wait a minute, bro. You met Jordan Belfort?
Jordan Belfort used to put me on his car, him and I together, and we used to drive on this freaking street right here, on this street, and we would door knock on all these businesses here. He taught me how to walk into businesses, door knock at CPA's office, attorney's office, and I got thrown out a lot of times. And he taught me how to walk in and generate business. And because of him, Jordan Belfort, my real estate career launched, and I started killing it. Started doing really, really well, really fast. I'm working for Jordan Belfort, the gentleman from the movie, Boiler Room. This is crazy. Him and I were really close friends, and he started showing me his scrapbook with weekly $1 million checks. Oh. I saw the mansions, I saw the boats, I saw the yachts, and he just showed me everything.
Look, man, when I take up on your invite to go kick it with you, Power Ranger stuff, we already talked about that, man. All right? I'm a fan. You gave me these. I want to pick your brain. I'm going to pick your brain, man, when I go to Huntington Beach and kick it with you. So be prepared, man. Be prepared.
One day I'm coming in with my laptop to work, ready to close some deals, doors locked. Big notice. Yeah, FTC has shut us down. And we're like, what the hell? Where's my checks? The guy, you owe me money here. So I went downstairs to the lawyer. The lawyer used to cut our checks. I'm like, where's my checks? Long story short, I got my money and I partied. I said, hey, I'm out, and I partied. And then that launched my real estate career. After that, I had a lot of success in real estate. 15 years strong. I had a real estate office. I had mortgage loan officers everywhere. I was doing pretty well. I started making a lot of money, but my mindset hadn't changed. My mindset was still here, scarcity mindset. I was still thinking a certain way, but my income was here. And I was, doing bad things with money, drinking and driving. Got multiple DUIs. And then a Power Ranger landed in jail. I got in a fight with my brother. Screw you, screw you, screw you. And of course I jumped in a car and I drove. Right, well, that night didn't go very well. Get pulled over. I jump out of my car. First thing I do, assume the position because I'm loaded. The guy starts searching me. The cops start searching me. Throwing my stuff on the floor. So I used to carry this knife on me, huge knife here. And the cop didn't find it after searching me. So he takes me to jail, does the paperwork, and then he releases me to the people and the jailers or whatever, and he says, all right, follow that line. I walk out, I follow that line. On the other side, there's a bunch of deputies waiting for me. Search me, and guess what? They find the weapon. So now, he's resisting arrest, he's resisting arrest, he's got a knife, and he throws a knife to the other jailers. All the jailers come on to me, and they beat the crap out of me in jail.
Wow.
They broke my fingers, bloody face, they stripped me out of my clothes, and they threw me in a jail cell, only on my boxers.
That's crazy. Me doing what I do, I take a lot of pride in what I do. The way that they just jumped on you for that.
To the next day, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, after sitting in a cold cell with no bench or no nothing, only a toilet, in my boxers, a police officer walks by and he says, what are you doing here? And I think he felt bad. He goes, I'm gonna get you out of here. And he comes and he gets me out. I finally get processed and I end up with all the murderers, all the bad people. I sat in a jail cell with a guy that was in there for murder, and he was happy about it. After 4 days of desperation and calling my house, get me out of here. I put up my house. After 4 days, I got out.
When I first started doing what I did, I met a guy, murdered his wife and kid, and he's happy about it. Doesn't regret it, nothing. He killed his wife over an argument about their Christmas tree. Shot her 26 times, went into the bedroom and killed his, I think, daughter or son it was. So there are people like that in the world, man. And the fact that you were in the same cell with somebody like that.
When I got out, I was just really depressed for a whole year. I was drinking, I was abusing alcohol, I felt like a loser. I didn't know what to do with my life. And in 2009, February, when I got my license back, I hit out the door and I went out and I decided that I was gonna change my life. See, before, I wasn't ready for all the success that I'm having right now because my mindset wasn't right. God woke me up. I'm not proud of this stuff, my man. It's real and it's truth. And that's really, part of what has shaped me. I believe that I had to go through a lot of these lessons so I can be able to empower the people the way I empower people nowadays. Because there's no way I was going to do it with that mindset. See, most people think, oh, the Power Ranger, he's got a perfect life, right? But they don't know all this other stuff. And if I can empower someone with this message, even if it's just one person out there, and I change that person's life because they can relate to my life and the situation that I've had, then I feel that I've done something good. And I love training mindset. I train on mindset because mindset is everything, and you can apply it in whatever you do. If you have the proper mindset, then you can conquer any goal, any task, anything. And pretty soon, I'll be traveling over to Mexico doing the same trainings right now.
Wow.
And I think Colombia, Peru, and Chile.
Whenever you want to come on down, man, I'm 2 minutes away from the border. You know that. You got my number, man.
Now what I do is, the reason why I do it is not for money or fame or anything like that. It's bigger than that. I want to be an example for my son, for my daughter. I want my kids one day to be like, that's Daddy. He was an example. I want to be like Daddy. He's my example.
That's such a great message,
man. Everything I do
man.
nowadays is for that. And I always talk about kids, because kids are dear to my life. I work with kids in Power Rangers, with the Make-A-Wish Foundation. I work with the Children's Hospital, and You know, the children, the Make-A-Wish Foundation for me was, man, it changed my life. I didn't know what the Make-A-Wish Foundation was. I just thought it was, oh cool, it was a foundation. I'm gonna work with these kids, and they would come and we would play and I would build relationships. And then a week later they'd be like, oh yes, remember such and such young boy, young girl that was here, your friend, yeah, of course. They would say they're no longer with us.
Wow. Just like that, just ripped away. I bet that was heartbreaking for you, man.
I didn't understand it. What do you mean they're no longer with us? Well, so-and-so was suffering for such situation, and now, you know, he passed. It changed my life. It freaking changed my life forever. I didn't understand it. Sorry. It just changed my life. Like, I couldn't understand those concepts, like, and it impacted me at big time. And it set the tone for everything that I do now. Back in 1998, it set the tone for the love that I have, the passion that I have for kids. Because I believe that no kid should go through that. Every kid should be able to enjoy their childhood and one day have the ability to be a Power Ranger. So anytime I get to work with kids, I'm all about it, Coming over to the Children's Hospital, signing autographs for the kids there. Currently work with the Ronald McDonald House now. I lost a nephew there, 1-year-old nephew.
Wow.
Died in the Ronald McDonald House, and they did so much for us. And now I get to work with that foundation. Currently, right now, work with the Ronald McDonald House. I love working with them. And now, you know, any moment that I get invited to go work with kids, you better believe it.
I see a lot of myself in you as well, you know. I volunteer the community here all the time. I coach kids, whether it's at the elementary level, middle school level, high school level, for the city kids, man. That's where it's at. Helping them out, whether it's doing your stuff or, you know, for me coaching or other people volunteering their time, just like how you do. That's an inspiration right there, man. You know, you being who you are and how successful you've been in your life, and still having, you know, the heart to go back into your community and do the stuff that you do, man. That's awesome. You know, that inspires me, and it inspires me to continue doing what I'm doing in my community and volunteering and doing all these things for the kids, man. So thank you for being who you are, man.
Like, a lot of times kids come up to me like, oh my God, you did this for me, you empowered me, you changed my life. You guys have no idea what you guys have done for me. Like, I've gotten way more out of those relationships than they've ever gotten from me.
Agree, man. Agree.
That charges my batteries when someone's face lights up.
That's what keeps me going too, man. That's what keeps me going too.
Anytime I get invited to work with kids, is for sure I'm all over it.
Oh man, Rogelio, I learned a lot about you, man, in this interview. We have so much in common, you know. We have the same mindset when it comes to our work ethic, where we grew up, working with kids, you know, the importance of all that stuff. You know, no wonder me and you clicked right away, bro. Yeah, man. It was a pleasure meeting you. Can't wait to meet up again, whether it's here or over there in California. You got my number, hit me up whenever you want. Everybody watching, make sure to follow Rogelio on all the social media. His Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, everything's on the description below. Thank you, man. Thank you for letting me know about this interview, and appreciate everything you do for the community. See you soon, bro.